Salut les amis, alors aujourd'hui un épisode avec Adam Marc, un ami que j'ai rencontré à Perpignan, à côté, donc au Soleil Comedy Club. C'est le premier épisode en anglais, donc je vous demanderai s'il vous plaît d'être indulgent avec moi. J'ai certainement fait des erreurs dans mes phrases, donc voilà, ne m'en tenez pas rigueur s'il vous plaît. En tout cas, c'était un plaisir de faire ça avec Adam Marc, qui est vraiment une personne que j'apprécie beaucoup. Ça fait des années qu'on se connaît, on discute tout le temps stand-up, on s'échange des spectacles et tout, à regarder sur Netflix, sur YouTube, etc. Et vraiment, c'est quelqu'un qui a un amour de la comédie. N'hésitez pas à laisser 5 étoiles et un commentaire sur Apple Podcast, Podcast Addict, Spotify, partout où il est possible de le faire. Je vous souhaite une excellente écoute. Bis à tous, même à toi là-bas.
Salut les amis, c'est Sofiane. On se retrouve pour un nouvel épisode du podcast. C'est en forgeant qu'on devient forgeron et c'est en galérant qu'on devient humoriste. Voici Galère d'humoriste avec aujourd'hui le premier invité américain qui vit en France, Adam Marc. Hello, Adam. How are you?
I'm great, Sofiane. I'm so happy to be on this podcast with you. I think it's number 351.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that means there's 350 French stand-up comedians that have gone on your podcast before me.
Yeah, Canadian and from Belgium and from Switzerland. I had one from Martinique, and you're the first one, the first American. Excuse me. I had Sebastian Marx. So you're the second American French living comedian.
Okay, great. And I think recently you had somebody from Congo.
Yes.
This is a very international podcast.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to show with this podcast. Is that sorry about my accent? It's that it's like comedy is a big family, and we all have a struggle. We all have problems. And Galères d'humoriste can be translated as a comedian's struggle or comedian's issues or.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to translate it. And you know what? Does your audience know how well you speak English?
Thanks, but I think that they will disagree.
I think they will discover.
Oh, okay. But I was in London like 2 or 3 days ago, and I see that my English is a little rusty.
All I know is that it's been now about 5 years that we have been in communication, and it's been essentially in English, and there has been zero problems.
Okay, thank you. But you're very kind because I know that I certainly make mistakes speaking with the wrong words and everything, but it's okay. You're a nice person, and it's okay. When I speak with you on WhatsApp, it's all right. You're like you forgive me. You forgive me easily for my mistakes. But it's every person is like that when you speak with someone that. Whose language is not English or French, or when you see that they make a little mistake, you know what they mean, so you say it's all right, it's not a problem.
It's not really, all right. You know, I grew up in a place where you have friends from everywhere in the world. You know, I'm from New York, so I'm used to hearing all sorts of English. And when you write a message back to me, you're always like, "What's up, bro?" You know, so you know what's going on. Modern English. You're not talking Shakespeare. You know, you're talking like.
No, Shakespeare is so far from me. No. I learned with US hip hop and Netflix. So you know that I have many bad languages and everything. We learn bad things sometimes from TV shows and everything. So it's all right. But thank you for your kindness. It's an honor to record the first English-speaking episode with you on this podcast. So I think that now, when I met you, I think you were beginning in comedy.
Actually, yes. You know, it's really funny because when I met you, I didn't know that you were performing. You were looking for the same place that I was looking for. I met you like on the street of a little town in the Pyrénées-Orientales called Le Soleil, S-O-L.
Le Soleil Comedy Club.
Right. And by the way, these guys run a great show. You know, they put on two acts like you know, people that, you know, have a full act and that are paid and go around France, and they put on 2 of those, and they let somebody do a first part, and I got to do this first part. It was really unexpected. I had done my first 6 minutes on stage in Brooklyn that summer before, and I got back to France afterwards. And there's a long story is why did it take me until 2000, I guess that was 2018 now, 2019, to do those 6 minutes on stage. But I got back to France and I wanted to do something. And I live in the Pyrenees Orientales. And I knew about the Soleil Comedy Club. I had gone to see a show or two over there. And I thought there were workshops or something. And so I called the guy who organizes it. His name is Christophe Villa. And he runs a tight ship, tons of volunteers, good food before. And he's like, just do a first part, just do an opening act. And I was like, all right. And then I got to do it. And that's when I was going there, that's where I met you. And right away, you're a friendly guy. You and you had somebody with you that runs the sound on your show that came with you. And both of you guys were really friendly. It was great.
Thank you. We were very pleased to meet you at that time. It's always nice to meet new comedians. And it was original, someone who doesn't speak French in the beginning and then goes on stage. I know what I'm talking about because I've been on stage 2 times in English and one time in Spanish.
In Spanish, okay, wow.
Yeah, in Spanish. If you want to try, you're near Spain.
I'm so close to Spain. I've even actually done stand-up comedy in French in Spain because you have in Barcelona you have 20,000.
That's where I went. In Spain, it was very nice. We went to Barcelona in Les Petits Barcelonais, and we performed in French when the pandemic was very high in France and everything was closed. But in Spain, everything was working all right. The restaurants were open. In here, you could go to the restaurant, but you had to take
to takeaway. You had to do takeaway.
That's the word I was looking for. Takeaway. You only had takeaway food in the restaurant. And when we went with a friend, we went to Barcelona in March 2021. We went there because it was like 5 months we didn't perform. So when we went there and we performed in French, we were so happy. And we went in the restaurant. We said, "Can we eat here?" And he said, "Yeah, of course." We looked at each other like, wow, France is very, very hard about this subject of restaurants. But now we can sit and we can sit down and we can eat. It's like freedom, and there's no problem. It was very hard in France, but in Spain they had more freedom.
Everything was, at different times in different places. I think generally, yes, there was a little bit more freedom. But your podcast is about like the difficulties that comedians have had. And one of my difficulties was coming back from Spain. I got stuck in Spain because of COVID.
You didn't have like a PCR test?
I had a bus pass, and I had to get to my show and I got on the Flixbus and I got there. But the way back, just didn't work out. Let's say I didn't have all the paperwork necessary. And it was the second time. So I thought it was going to be fine. But then, all of a sudden, you had to have the
pass,
the which you didn't have to have before. And, but, it was worth it. I found my way back. So you want to talk about like just getting to the place, doing your show, getting on stage, and then whatever happens after is not important. And I had that a second time in Montpellier because, I'd gone to go do my first time at Redline and it was wonderful. And so like before I'd gone just to check out what was going on and stand up, and I'd gone to the Donut Comedy Club and I saw it, and this girl went on stage and she did like, a good beginner show. It seemed it was the first time she got back on stage for a while, and I got her Facebook. And then before I went on Redline, we met up with her and her friend who also does stand up for a drink at the Broc Cafe in Montpellier. Yep. And then they told me tomorrow night is is a comedy show with the broker. I was like, well, I'm not going to go home. I found like an Airbnb, some lady for 20 euros a night. You know, I sleep in like on the couch or something. And I'll just grab the Flixbus at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's what's nice about Flixbus. It's always there day and night.
Exactly. But you know what closes is the train station in Montpellier at midnight.
Yeah.
I thought I'd stay there, nice, you know, heat it up, like nice and warm. And then I'd go over to the Flixbus station, which is like a 25-minute walk. But no, I got there. I got at like 11:45 to the train station, and I was all like settled. And they're like, "You guys all have to leave. Like the train station is closing." And I was in like freezing cold temperature until 4 a.m. And I had to literally, like, I had to just walk. Like, I probably did like 20 kilometers of walking back and forth around the train station. It was unbelievable. This was the only time in my life that I ever thought that I like might die of something. And I bought thermal underwear after that. I was like, I'm going to be prepared for anything because I want to do comedy.
I feel you, bro. I just had the same life experience. I've been waiting so long for buses and everything in the cold, but you know that it's better to do that than to go to a hotel and pay like 50 or 60 euros. You know, it's always it's a financial struggle.
It's always a financial thing. Like, you know, okay, I got the Airbnb for like, you know, not your own apartment, but like, you know, just a room for like 20 euros for the night. But eventually you got to cut costs. I mean, you're just going on stage for 6 minutes or 7 minutes. Thermal underwear, guys, that's the solution. And some people are thinking like, oh yeah, Montpellier, the south of France, it couldn't have been that cold. I was that cold. It was that cold, huh?
I believe you. I was in Montpellier like in March. I think in March of 2024, and I got off the bus and I saw the most like very hard, the most powerful rain I've ever saw in Montpellier, and I was like, wow, this is the south. No, it's not. I think it's like people always laugh about north. They say that in north and in Bretagne it always rains, but now in Montpellier it was like quite a storm. You know, we had like a thunder, lightning, and everything, and it was very hot, and it was the south.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. If someone told me it was another city, I would have believed them. It was very hot. So I feel you, bro. I feel you. And how did the show go? Was the show very nice? And so it helped you go through the night until you took your Flixbus?
Well, I gotta tell you, I was happy with my you know, 6 or 7 minutes on stage at Redline. That was a good experience. What were the best experiences for me besides all that I had to deal with COVID? Because, you know, we talked about my first time on stage, which was technically my second time because I did something the night before when we met at the Soleil Comedy Club. Besides what I did during, you know, COVID, just like doing like private things, we're 2 times in Barcelona, because in Barcelona at the Comédie de Comptoir, they sell the tickets and you can have, you know, I think like 150 people in there that bought tickets. So there's such a good audience there. I mean, when I tell people like I went to Spain to have an amazing French audience, it's because I live in the Pyrenees Oriental, and the things I had done here were like at a restaurant or at just some sort of like open mic thing. One time I did something in Perpignan when they closed all the bars, but the restaurants were open. So this restaurant had like an open mic. This is like the last thing open. And I get there and there's like 9 8-year-old kids in the front row because the guy who was hosting it was a clown that was doing like theater things. I was like, all right, I'm going to do my show. And I said to the kids, look, we're going to do a thing. When I put my fingers in my ear, you put your fingers in your ear, okay? And we did something like that. And so I've had some weird situations that were not clearly indicative of how good my show was. They were good for me to be on stage, but Barcelona were really two good ones. Are like I got to do my full show. If my worst, dirtiest, hardest jokes worked over there, then it's fine. I'm ready to go. That's how it's been since then. And but since then, there's been ups and downs. I spent 8 weeks in New York last summer. I did comedy in English. I picked up on the Long Island stand-up scene, which was wonderful because I thought I had to go into Manhattan like I did the first time. So it was great. I was able to do a bunch of open mics, and open mics are really open mics. I've not found this in France. It's you get there, there's a list, you sign up. If you don't want to go first, you don't go first, but it's like in order, and you sign up. If you want to go fourth, if the fourth spot's open, you take it. And if you got there late, then you get on late. If you got there too late, you don't get on. And everybody gets to go on. That's like a real open mic. What they call open mic in France is really like what you guys call like a plateau. It's already planned. And so that was a lot of fun. But now that I'm back, I'm ready to do my full shows. And that's why I'm here, like, to do this podcast with you in English. Is because I'm going to do a full show. I'm going to do a full 1 hour show in English called The Last Wall of Truth. And I'm going to do that in the Pyrenees-Orientales in a town called Céret, which is the capital of cherries, right? It's a big town known for cherries. It's only 10 minutes from the last exit to go to Spain, the Bulu, and it's gonna be a fun night on July 27th. There's gonna be an English gal. She's gonna do 10 minutes. This English guy is gonna be doing 20 minutes, and this guy is going to be famous because this guy he organizes the Vallespire Comedy Club. Now, if you don't know what the Vallespire is, that's that whole valley where you go Céret, Arcertec, Amélie-les-Bains, all the way up to Prats de Beaulieu. It's this last valley in France. If you know the Rouski, that's Amélie-les-Bains, Arcertec. And this guy just created this with 2 or 3 other people. They created a comedy club, and they got like 400 people the first night. I went to go see it in January, and a beautiful, beautiful place to have it, and good sound, good lighting, food truck outside. And then they did it again, and I think it was like 280 people. And a few less people came because we said all the seats are sold out because we had standing room only the first time. So we got to finish that one doing like 16, 17 minutes, and that was wonderful. And all the proceeds went to charity. So I think they're going to do another one in September. So this is going to be like a good spot to go do stand-up comedy, where you get hundreds of people to come out and see just people do 10 minutes, which is not very common.
That's a nice thing. In France now, the stand-up comedy is getting bigger and bigger, and we have many languages now. I just saw in Paris, like some weeks ago, Polish, Polonais, Polish.
Polish stand-up comedy. Wow, that's great.
Stand-up comedy. I was very stunned. I said, "Wow, there's a place for every language in stand-up comedy in France." We knew the English stand-up comedy scenes and everything, but I heard about Italian. It's quite new, Italian, and there's also Spanish, Arabic, and Polish. It was the very first time that I saw that.
That's great. I think in the big cities, you got big communities. I know in New York, you definitely have a huge Korean community. I mean, you have a huge Puerto Rican community.
Okay.
I've not heard of people doing stand-up comedy in other languages than English over there.
we know that English is the real language of stand-up comedy since it was born in New York. But I think it's nice that that people have like a 10 minutes show in English, so that they can travel around the world and perform everywhere. That's my dream. I dream about having a 10 minutes like a bulletproof set, that I could
I
perform
like that.
all around the world, because it's very nice, and it's a nice sensation to go abroad and to see people laugh, and you don't even live with them. You make them laugh about some things that unite us. Universal jokes.
Universal jokes, but universal truths. And as I said, the name of my comedy special is The Last Wall of Truth. And for me, that's a metaphor for comedy. I think comedy is a way of saying the things that people, hesitate to say, that are just true, that are important. And I mean, obviously, if you do it in English, that's wonderful, because more people hear it. Also, the American public for stand-up comedy does not mind grammatical errors. You could go there and you could make all the mistakes you want, like the typical Chinese or Jamaican or whatever, Mexican person, and we love it as long as it's funny. So there's no pressure to be perfect. I feel a pressure to be perfect when I do my stand up in French, but that's what it is. That's what it is. That's not really a problem. So I'm interested. You wanna have 10 minutes in English?
Yeah, I want. I know that my accent will never be perfect, because I never lived in New York or in London, or I don't know where. But I want a bulletproof set, not with a perfect accent, just the perfect jokes. I know that French people have like a magic a magic accent. American people love French accent. I know that.
Love it.
So I know it's not going to be a problem, but my concern is more about the jokes. I want the jokes to be really perfect. I want a 10-minute bulletproof set that I can take everywhere. But the accent, I can do nothing about it, so it's all right. I'll do whatever I can, and I know it's like when I go to Morocco, because I was born in France, but I go to Morocco to see my family every year. And when I go there, I speak Moroccan. I really try hard to have the nice accent and everything, the right accent. And they always tell me, "We know you're from abroad. We know you you live in Europe." And it's okay. I deal with it now, but I was frustrated with that, because I said, no, I speak the right language. I use the right words, but they always manage to find the smallest accent possible, and they know that I'm not from there. It's all right. Everyone knows. I lived in France my whole life. If someone comes from another country and have the littlest accent, I will know it. I will say like, I hear a little accent. Where are you from? And everything. But it's okay. It's okay. It's a nice thing. Learning another language and performing in another language. Do you have like a story about some time that you used the wrong word or anything on stage?
Well, there's not a wrong word. There's a word that I got rid of. I can't
Which,
say ombre. Ombre. I
like
say
shadow?
I say shadows now. I say shadows.
Okay, because ombre is really hard for you to say.
It's just nobody understands me. So I have a little joke about je suis né dans les ombres des gratte-ciel de Manhattan. But je suis né dans les shadows des gratte-ciel de Manhattan. So when I do it in French, I don't say ombre because it just nobody understands me. I have to accept that I have limitations, and at the same time, I accept that French people know a few words in English, so it all works out. Have you done stand-up comedy in Morocco?
Yes, yes. In French at first, and then I did a 5 or 7 minutes in Moroccan. It was nice, but it's not the same. You know, when you grow up somewhere, you have all the references, all the languages, the language tricks and everything. You can master your set. But when you go to another country, it's never as powerful as your mother language, you know. So it was nice performing there, but it's not as efficient as my French stand-up.
Right. So maybe they aren't as used to stand-up as in France. Maybe it's a new art.
No. They have stand-up comedy for quite long. I was like I was a child when I watched Moroccan stand-up comedy with a guy named, for example, Said Nasseri. Said Nasseri in Moroccan. He's been doing stand-up comedy for quite long. There's a duet of comedians. They're brothers. Their name in Arabic is Barit Tiqar. And they're very funny comedians. I was laughing out loud when I heard them. I was a kid. So no, it's not new. It's like me to adapt myself to the comedy there. It's not the same. Like if a Moroccan came from Morocco and came here for his first shows, it would be very difficult. Like he needs to get used to the way of speaking, and I don't know how to say, but he will learn in his daily life, and then his comedy will be stronger. If I lived in Morocco for like 3 months or 6 months, I think I would have a strong set. But just going on vacation, no, it's not the same. And so your shows in English, did people tell you that they could see that you didn't live in America anymore? Did the French color you like a little bit? I don't know how to say détendre. I don't know, like the color of the French, like the like uh, st- um stuck.
You can do it. Tell me what you want to say.
I'm trying hard. um, I want to say, did the French culture influence you in your stand-up comedy?
As far as doing this in English, this is really like a one-off that came out of the fact that a British guy was one of the co-organizers of the Valisphere Comedy Club, and he's really good at organizing. So I said, "Hey, I want to do an hour. You should do 20 minutes. Let's find somebody to do 10 minutes. Let's do a show."
You did it the American way, like opening act, middle act, and you're the headliner.
You know what? I knew he wasn't ready to be the headliner, and he wouldn't take any offense to that. But he's so good at organizing that you know what? He's so good, and that's fine. But I was surprised that it took him like 3 days, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then he found a venue. So the town of Céret, which is a beautiful town, which has a lot of expats. They gave him the Théâtre de Verdure. He's got a production company because he's organized a few things before COVID, and he's going to organize some other things like a street art festival and maybe even a music festival later in the year. But he just got that going, and it's great. He's got his thing to sell tickets and the whole deal, and that's wonderful. You know what it is. I gotta just share something. Because he got 183 posters printed, and I took mine, and every time I put one up, it was like an act of confidence in myself. It was like, let me. I went to Coolio, which is a beautiful town. I went to La Roque des Albert, which is near me. I went to all these towns, and I'm putting up the sign. But before that, I printed out like smaller ones, and I just put them up. And every time you do that, it's like, I know I'm going to put on a good show. It's almost like, am I going to promote my show? Yes. Why? Because I believe in it. And I really do believe in the show that I'm going to put up on July 27th in Céret. I'm very, very proud of the stuff I've worked out, and just like lining up all these different jokes, and I'm super excited. And you know what? It's like, you hear a lot of stand-up comedians, they want to be humble, right? You're a humble guy.
You can bomb anytime. So humility is like mandatory.
Right. But how can you be humble if you believe people are going to pay you money?
You need to be humble to continue to go on working and getting better jokes, and always remembering that it can stop tomorrow, and you need confidence to perform right, and so that people say he knows what he's doing, and he's gonna deliver good jokes, and we're gonna have a good night and a great show.
Yeah. So there's something about being like a little bit later in life. How old are you, Sofiane?
I'm 41.
Okay, and I'm 44. I just turned 44.
Okay.
So like neither of us have made millions of euros from stand-up comedy.
How do you know I didn't do it?
I don't know. Give me some.
I told you I was recording in my car. I didn't say it was if it was a Lamborghini or a Skoda,
Yeah, I don't know. You never know. Exactly. You know what? You're such a good guy that you could have millions of euros and nobody would know. And if I had millions of euros, you know what I would do? If people wanted to talk to me, I would just sit around and talk to them all day, every day for like 20 hours a day.
If I had like millions of euros from comedy or from the movies or anything, I would still want to go on stage and perform, because it's making me happy more than money.
Exactly. So that's what I was talking about. I'm talking about like this, like creative euphoria, and then the adrenaline, and then when you're on stage, the presence, and then after it, if it went well, the continued adrenaline, and then the new sparked creativity. And that is just a good brain chemistry to live in. That's what I'm saying. That's a wonderful brain chemistry to live in. And if you just love that brain chemistry, then that's all there is, really,
Absolutely. I think it's the best sensation in the world. When you go on stage, you have an uncertain joke, and you give it to it's a new joke. You give it to the audience, and the audience laughs. It's really thrilling. It's a very it's a good sensation. And the best sensation is when you have a joke that's quite bad, and you manage to make it better and better and better until it works.
Yeah. But you're coming from a perspective where you've gotten a lot of stage time in Bordeaux, and then in Paris as well. I'm in a place where it's pretty much pretty difficult, and I kind of came up during COVID, and I've learned to write a joke, record it, and then record it 16 times, and then send the recording to 8 friends, and only 4 of them will write back like, oh, that was bad, or that was good, or I like that, and then do it again and send it to those 4, and only 2 will write back, and then record it 5 more times before you send it back to those 2 people. And so I've been working a different way, and so I've been like kind of alone in my own creativity. But it's worked out, because I've had, since I've been like 15 or 16, I've been going into Manhattan to watch stand-up comedy, and I've always been watching, the 10-minute stand-up shows, like in the Comedy Cellar or the Comedy Underground or Gotham or Caroline's, wherever it was in Manhattan. And I actually was talking with somebody. I never even went to a full 1 hour show. I've only watched them on, on Netflix or Amazon Prime or YouTube. So I've just been going to see people just like, working their stuff out like over and over again, making fun of me if I got in the front row, like, oh, you look like Harry Potter, or, when I'm 16 with like a tie, because I had an internship in Manhattan, and just be like, you're like the epitome of capitalism and whatever, just ripping on me, like. Or when I got back from France on the trip to New York, like, what do you do? It's like, oh, I worked at a ski station last year in Maribel in France. Oh, that's something a white guy would say. I don't know what happens. I go to these comedy clubs and they just rip me apart. Like, and I love it though. It's great.
Because you have a friendly face.
I have friendly face. I had Harry Potter glasses, some I've gotten made fun of my fair share in comedy clubs in Manhattan.
I think that working like you did, and going to America and seeing and watching so much comedy shows and everything shows that you're motivated. You have a great motivation, and you have a love of you have a comedy. You're a lover of comedy. A comedy lover.
You know what, Sofiane? I'm going to be serious with you. I think I have the most amazing jokes, and I think I'm going to be extremely famous, and I'm going to bring you with me.
I'm just looking forward to do this. It's the best that I can wish you, bro, because it's a long way, and the motivation and the urge to be on stage is the key. So I wish that you will fulfill that dream, and I'll be more than happy to go with you when you get it. And I think that you will make a great show. You'll deliver great jokes on July 27th.
On July 27th, right. And I just want your public to know that, like, anytime I'm like, hey, Sofiane, go listen to this. You think it's funny? I don't think it's funny. Why has this guy got a Netflix special? You respond right away. You watch it. Or like, yo, you got to check this out. This guy's so funny. Like, oh, yeah, I like that. All right, sometimes like I didn't like that. And it's such a wonderful exchange because, I'm American. I have American family and friends. But honestly, like if it came down to it, if I want to really know what somebody thinks about a comedy special, I'm going to ask you because, like I got to know somebody who's actually gets on stage and does it, And this has been a wonderful pleasure to have known you for the last 5 years and to have been able to share what I've been doing. I haven't really shared, what you've been doing because you're ahead of the game as far as I'm concerned. You do a lot more than I do, but you've always been there, and that's been great. And I just want to thank you for that.
You're welcome, bro, and I'm really happy to know that you perform and you go on. You have a full hour show now coming, so it's very nice. And you're one of the kindest persons I know in comedy, because comedy is a very hard world. So you need to make an artistic family. And I'm happy to say that you're a member of this family, and I hope we'll perform soon together. If you come to Paris or if I go to Perpignan, we need to book like a spot, a set for us both. And I will be very, very happy to perform with you on stage again. It's been very nice, and I hope you'll get whatever you want, whatever you wish. It's a hard way. It's a long way to success, but we'll keep on working and performing and getting good laughs and bombings and everything. We accept it all. And I'm happy to have this conversation with you on the podcast.
They say that the ultimate happiness is making small steps of progress and then overcoming difficulties through your own abilities, right? So there's no rush, right? There's no rush. You're
No.
old. I'm old. We are what they call boomers. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say, because you know what? My parents were the baby boomers. They were the people, you know, after World War II that were born. Whatever. I'm second generation boomer. But whatever. Let's take our time, you know, because you know what? If you really want to say something, you got to know something. And if you want to know something, you have to have lived something. And I'm not saying that like we're like you know, we lived through like famine and war and bombs and all that, but like, you know, we've seen it. We've seen a little bit of life. You've had kids, I've had kids, you know. It's just, it just takes a little bit of time to have a maturity in the jokes. And I think really that it's the people that have life experience that could bring a lot through comedy. And I'm not in a rush. I like the trajectory. I like your trajectory. I like my trajectory, and I think we're gonna do good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. The stand-up comedy is based on life. If you don't live anything, what will you say on stage? So it's perfectly the way to see things. We need to live things and to deliver them on stage. And I'm really okay with what you said, because small steps are better than like one big step and then stopping everything. The important thing is to go forward, even if it's slower, but you go forward. You never stop. That's it's evolving. We need to evolve in our stand-up comedy, and thanks to God, we can do that, and we love stage. So, like you said, we're not in a rush, because we have a full life with a family and everything. So it's not easy, but we'll manage to do it. Inshallah, as we say as Muslims, we say Inshallah, if God wants, we'll be able to do it. So
Inshallah.
yeah, let's not lose our motivation, and let's rock everything for your show on July 27th. I really wish you a packed place, and laughs that we will hear from Paris.
All right, so you know that's wonderful. The capacity is 182. So that means 110 American.
Okay. Okay. I hope the place will be packed and everyone will love your show. Thank you for sharing with us, and thank you for being in this first English speaking episode. Where can we find you on social media?
All right, so I'm on Instagram, because you know the people that call me boomer said you had to be on Instagram. So Adam Marc stand up.
Okay.
ARC, and on Facebook I'm Adam space Marc MARC as my profile, and my page is Adam Marc stand up. So
okay.
Something like that. You'll find me. There's not so many people like me. You'll find me.
Yeah, don't worry. You're one of a kind.
Yeah, one of a kind. Except that lately, I have been misidentified as Orelsan, the French rapper.
Oh, that's an honor.
That's an honor. Yeah, it was only a few nights ago in Céret where somebody asked me for a selfie, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm Orelsan." And then I got to the big music festival, the Déferlante in Barcarès, and 5 guys that were running like the e-liquid spot, like with big signs, and I passed it. It's Orelsan. Let me get a selfie. And then I just started freestyle rapping. It was crazy. You know, and then the guys were like, you know, I know you're not Orelsan, but let me get a selfie. And you have no idea how much Orelsan has touched me. And I was like, who is this guy? Who's this guy? And I've been listening to Orelsan for like 4 days now. So, you know, it's not about the end. It's about the quête, right? The quest.
Yeah. It's the journey that matters.
It's about the journey. That's what he says. So let's do that. Let's do the journey.
Do you think, Adam, that Orelsan gets like people that comes to him and say, "Oh, you Adam Mark, please, can we get a selfie?"
That is the funniest thing I've thought about all week. No, absolutely not. I don't think that has ever happened to him. But I got to tell you, I actually felt the love that people actually have for him. And that was really intense. It was really intense, you know, because it happened to me 1 or 2 times before, just like that. So I was ready for it. But then 2 days in a row, this week, and the people being like, Orelsan, there was a period in my life, Orelsan was important for me. I really want to get this selfie, even though after he knew I was not at all Orelsan. And when I started freestyle rapping, like these 3 guys, like making, like the rap things with their arms and everything, like, and I was like, I gotta listen to this guy. So I've been putting it on Spotify nonstop every time I get in my car.
Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer Harry Potter or Orelsan?
Orelsan. I like him. I like it now. I'm a fan now. I wasn't a fan. I vaguely heard of it. I'm a fan. I have been an Orelsan fan for 6 days.
Oh, wow. Nice. But thank you for sharing everything with us, and thank you for looking like Orelsan. I wish you a great show. I hope I'll see it someday. And thank you. And I'm gonna finish with my French outro. Merci beaucoup, Adam.
Merci beaucoup, Sofiane. Merci beaucoup. C'était génial. Je suis heureux d'avoir fait ce podcast avec toi.
Avec grand plaisir. Maintenant, c'est toi qui vas galérer. Là, je parle en français, là. Un contour maintenant. Non, merci beaucoup. Et je mettrai tous les liens dans la description. Et pour ma part, vous me retrouvez sur tous les réseaux sociaux. Donc, Sofiane et Taï, E2TAI, sur Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram et TikTok. N'hésitez pas à laisser 5 étoiles et un commentaire sur Apple Podcast, Podcast Addict, Spotify, partout où il est possible de le faire. Je vous dis à très bientôt pour un nouvel épisode. Bis à tous, même à toi là-bas.